All right, Cheryl, like I said, it's just you and me, so this is going to be like it was a consultation, okay? All right, so my name is Randolph Love. I am a franchise consultant. Do you believe all truths are parallel? Have you ever heard that before?
Never heard.
Well, what they say is all truths are parallel. What's usually workable in one thing is workable in another. For example, you ever heard if you ever want to enter a busy intersection, how y'all doing? How you doing? If you ever want to enter a busy intersection, it's better to go to the traffic light first instead of just trying to enter into like a busy road. This, what do they say?
I drive, go around.
And you go to the light. What do people tell people if they stuck in the abyss? Go to the light, right? Usually what's workable in one thing is workable in another. So one truth that I know is that you should always look for the source. Before you consume something, you need to know where it comes from, right? Before you drink something, where does it come from? Before you eat something, where does it come from? The same goes for what you put in your mind. So just to let you know who I am, my name is Randolph Love III. I am a chartered financial consultant, chartered life underwriter, chartered property casualty underwriter, and fellow Life Management Institute. That means I have more letters after my name than in my name, right? But the reason why I got so many designations is because I was so relatively young when I started out. I retired when I was 31, but when I was in my 20s, in order for me to do what I needed to do, people needed to see these type of designations. I am a registered pre-licensing and continuing education provider with the Florida Department of Financial Services. I provide training and consultation to corporate, federal, state, and local governing agency. I assist individuals and business owners with effective tax minimalization wealth strategies. I have over 14 years in the insurance and financial services industry, and I am a franchise consultant with the Franchise Consulting Company, okay? So what I'm going to be talking to you today is this, and if you turn to like the second or third page in the book that you receive, you'll be able to see it clearly. Now, most people have what's on the right side of this page. I'm not going to say most people, but well-informed people have what's on the right side of this page. They understand that if you want to do business, you have to minimize your liability as much as possible, and you also have to minimize your taxes as much as possible. Is there anybody in here that loves to pay taxes? I think I saw Bill raise his hand. Bill loves to pay taxes, right? But I don't think anybody loves to pay taxes. Now, I do have some people who understand that taxes are used to pay for your security, pay for social, adjustments and that things of this nature. But let me ask you, even if you're that person, do you believe that the government is handling your tax dollars appropriately? No. Absolutely not. Correct. So even if you're somebody who might not love to pay taxes, but you understand there's a function for it, you might be like, but they're not handling it appropriate. I'd rather not pay taxes legally, because that's tax avoidance, not tax evasion. Tax avoidance is legal. Tax evasion is illegal. I'd rather avoid taxes legitimately and legally, keep that money for myself, but not just be a selfish person and keep it to myself. I want to give it to the people that I know, love, and trust. I want to give it to the charities that I know, love, and trust, because I can handle that better. I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, what we have at the bottom, and it's a little blurry on this screen, I apologize, but you can see it on that paper. What we have on the bottom is what's called a holding company. Has anybody ever heard of a holding company? Exactly. And a lot of people understand a holding company is used to hold your business assets in order to keep you from, doing business directly with the public. Why do you not want your holding company to do business directly with the public? Because the public is so happy, right? So one of my mentors, I don't know if you ever heard of Russell Brunson. Anybody ever heard of ClickFunnels? All right, so ClickFunnels is worth over $500 million, right? I wish it was $1 billion, right? It's not going to get there. But my business mentor and coach and business partner is his father, Ross Brunson. All right, and Ross Brunson was the first person to tell me this. He said, people hate to be inconvenienced. We don't like the snow. We don't like the rain. We don't like the hail. We don't like all of that, so we built houses. But when they built the house, did they make it one big old room like this? No, what they did was they created different rooms for different functions. They created the living room for you to live in when the people come and entertain. They created the kitchen for you to cook in, the bathroom for you to relieve yourself, the bedroom for you to sleep. Are you going to sleep in the kitchen? Right? Are you going to entertain someone in your bedroom? I guess depends on who you're entertaining, right? Right? But you're going to sleep in your bedroom. You're not going to cook in your bedroom. You're not going to entertain somebody in your bathroom. Each room has its own function. The same goes for business entities. An LLC is a great entity known as a limited liability company. An LLC is great. It limits your liability. But if all you have is an LLC, it's not going to help you with taxes. They're going to treat it like a pass-through entity. Does anybody know what that means? That means that if you, let's say you make $160,000 with your business. Did you know you get taxed twice? You get tax income tax and you get tax self-employment tax, right? Because you're actively working in the business, and what the government believes is that they're going to have to take care of your Social Security and they're going to have to take care of your Medicare. How good is Social Security?
I can tell you it ain't as good as it need to be.
It's not as good as it need to be. How good is Medicare?
Same as.
Does anybody know that as long as you made $4,000 a year for the past 10 years, that you've already fully funded your Social Security and Medicare? So everything else that you're putting into Social Security and Medicare is just gravy. Do you want to continue to give this government that's probably not managing your money right, all that gravy? No, so you want to try to minimize that as much as possible. So what people do is they make sure that their holding company is the manager of these LLCs. Who ever heard of a single member LLC, right? And a single member LLC, typically, I believe, if you have one, is your name on it, right? If you have this set up, you're still going to have a single member LLC doing business with the public. But do you know who's going to be the owner, the manager of that LLC? Your holding company. Your holding company is going to be an LLC treated as S Corp. The reason why I like LLC treated as S Corp is because you get all those benefits, those tax treatments of an S Corp without all the red tape and minutia. Okay? Now, what's the benefit? So let's say you made that 160, like I said, they're going to tax you income tax and self-employment tax. However, if you have an S Corp, did you know that you can say, all right, yes, I know my company made $160,000 this year, but I only paid myself $40,000. What that means is that $40,000 of that $160,000 that your company made is going to be the one that's going to be taxed twice. That other $120,000 they're going to treat like you're an investor in the company, because you are. Did you not pull out your own money and make a capital contribution to get your company started? So you are an investor in your company. So what's going to happen is they're going to tax that $40,000 twice, and then they're going to turn around and tax that other a flat rate. Right now, we're still going to try to legally avoid taxes as much as possible with all the money. But after the tax treatment is taken care of, guess what we're going to do? Look over to the left side. Like I said, most people understand that you have an LLC. Well, a lot of informed people that you have an LLC, and then the LLC treated as S Corp is the manager and the single member of your company. But a lot of people don't know about this side, the family bank. Who knows somebody that's 70 and they can't stop working?
Me.
Exactly. Because what it is when you're actively working, yeah, you're going to make money. But who wants to have to actively work? I'm not telling you to stop working. I'm just saying, why do you have to? I want it to be an option. So what you want to start doing as soon as possible is start making your money make babies. Anybody ever heard that term before? How to make money make babies? If you can impregnate a $100 bill, would you not? All night long, right? So you want to figure out how to do it the right way. So what you do is you make a capital contribution from your LLC treated as S Corp to your LLLP. I guarantee you your CPA has never heard of an LLLP. It's a limited liability, limited partnership. Does anybody know the benefit of having a limited liability, limited partnership? You spread the responsibility. Colorful knows what's going on. Because here's the thing. You want it to have it to where you limit your liability as much as possible. So one of the benefits of an LLLP, because remember, we're building this house, right? The LLC was to limit your liability. The LLC treated as S Corp was to allow you to split your active income from your passive income. Now that you have your LLLP, your limited liability, limited partnership, it allows you to have a general partners and limited partners. Your LLC treated as an S Corp is going to be a 99% limited partner of your LLP. Guess who's going to be the 1% general partner? Nope, your family trust. Because here's the thing, a lot of people are building businesses not just for them, but for the future. You're not just doing this for your first name, you're doing this for your last name, all right? So you understand that if you die without doing estate planning, what's going to happen? Yeah, they're going to mess it up. And guess what? If you're in a blended family, does anybody know what a blended family is? A blended, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was saying, I didn't hear what.
A blended family. And most families are blended family. What that means is you have children from one marriage and then children from another marriage. And then the husband and wife marry each other, so they have children here, and you probably love your stepchildren. But do you know when you die without estate planning, what happens? You know what we call that, us financial advisors? We call that the last to die wins. Who knows what I mean by the last to die wins? So you die intestate, because what happens is, even though you have these children, you have these assets, you have this business that you built, when you die and you die intestate without estate planning, your assets, all of them, not some of them, all of them go to your closest surviving relative. Do you know who your closest surviving relative is when you're married? Your husband or your wife. So what happens is everything, 100% of all of your assets is going to go to your surviving spouse. And then what happens when that surviving spouse dies? It's going, and let's say they don't remarry. Their closest surviving relatives are their children, not your children, their children. And let's say they do remarry. Their closest surviving relative is going to be that new spouse. So somebody you never even met is going to get all of your assets. So you want to get, you not only do you want to protect yourself from liability, not only do you want to separate your active income from your passive income, but you also want, not only do you want to move it over to a passive income producer, because guess what? Just like this LLC treated as S Corp, it's the single member owner of all of your active money making entities. You also have that LLP is going to be the single member owner of all your passive income companies. Because even if you own a piece of real estate, it has what they call inherent liability. It means that even if you own a piece of land, if somebody walks on that piece of land and trips and falls and hurts themselves, you're potentially liable, right? So you want to isolate yourself from all of that. So not only are you going to isolate yourself, you got your passive income coming, because what's going to happen is once you get this set up, guess what your savings account? The savings account that's in your name is going to be in the name of your limited liability partnership. Guess what? All your life insurance products is going to be the name of your limited liability partnership. All of your stuff, because guess what? If you get sued, they're going to say, Cheryl, how much? Do you have any bank accounts? You're going to say no. Cheryl, do you have any life insurance policies? You're going to say no. Cheryl, do you own any properties? You're going to say no, and you're going to be able to legally say that because you don't own them. Your limited liability partnership owns it. And guess who owns both your limited liability company treated as S Corp and your limited liability partnership? Is going to be your trust. Because what's going to happen is that's going to be an irrevocable trust. Now we can decide to do what's called equal distribution or equal opportunity. A lot of people typically just do equal distribution, and that's nothing wrong with that. What that means is if you have 4 children, then each child get 25%. But what about that child that never calls you? That child that, and when you do hear from, you already know what's coming, right? That don't mean you're going to completely shut them out, but what that means is you might decide to do what's called an equal opportunity trust. Say, hey, as long as you do this, this, and this, we call this the dead hand, right? You can control them from the grave, right? As long as you do this, this, and this, you all, and all of the people who come after you have access to this amazing company that I built. All of this money, you have access to it as long as you all have an equal opportunity. But if you don't do it, then it continues to go to the ones who do. Some people make that equal opportunity every year. You have to get together. When the last time some of you had a family reunion? I'm talking about a real one, right? You can be in a small town. You can be in a small town like Tuskegee. Don't forget the K, right? You can be in a small town like that. You don't even know who your family is because y'all never get together. What if one of the requirements of having opportunity to your trust that y'all have to meet once a year and talk about what you learned and share it with everybody, right? So that's just something, and once again, I'm just touching on the beginning. I don't have that much time, but if you want to learn more about this, please just pull out your phones right now, because if you do this within the next 24 hours, you text Legacy24 to 904-822-4262. Text Legacy24 to 904-8262. I'm going to send you a signed copy of my book for just the cost of shipping, okay? For just the cost of shipping. And one last thing before I go, has anybody ever heard of a Chrysler 300? I remember when the Chrysler 300 came out. It was a beautiful car, a gorgeous car. I was a kid, we grew up in, a low middle class neighborhood. Every time the Chrysler 300 rolled by, we would stop what we were doing and we would watch it ride by and say, that looks just like a Bentley. That looks just like a, did you do that? No?
But a lot of people think it's like,
Oh yeah, it looks like a Bentley. And I like where your head at, right? Until one day when I grew up, right? And I was in a parking lot, and not only did I see a Bentley and a Chrysler 300 parked right next to each other, they were both back then, and they were both the same color. It was at that very moment that I said a Chrysler 300 looks nothing like a Bentley. Now listen, you're going to talk to a lot of consultants, you're going to talk to a lot of advisors, and they all going to have the same licenses and probably even the same credentials, but it's not until you put it right up next to somebody else, and you're like, that's a Chrysler 300. I should call Randolph Love. I want a Bentley. Once again, this is the book. Hold on. Boom. Legacy 24. What was Legacy 24? That's the infographic. So if you want a copy of this, you text Legacy 24, and I do apologize. If you want the book, text Franchise 24 to 822-4262. And once again, if you do it within the next 24 hours, it's a $50 book. It's worth way more. But if you do it within the next 24 hours, I'll send you a copy of the book for just the cost of shipping, because, shipping and handling, right? And once again, I want to thank you. I have a short time, so I'll take one question. Anybody have any questions?
Can you put it back?
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. What question do you have?
I wanted to elaborate on the family bank.
Okay, elaborate on the...
Self-banking, your own family banking.
Yes, ma'am. So she wants me to elaborate on the family bank. So once again, as soon as possible, you want to switch your active income to your passive income, because guess what? Over 85% plus of businesses never sell, right? So you want to get your money to start making money quick as possible. What we do at the family bank, the reason why we separate limited for general, because if you ever get sued, if you ever go to bankruptcy, if you ever go through divorce, we want this thing to be isolated. So what we do is we make the LLLP, the limited liability, limited partnership, the owner of all of your savings accounts. We make it the owner of all of your assets. And so what happens is, as that money is growing, because a majority of that serious money, just so you know, and I do know my community, as soon as you say life insurance, people be like, oh no. But do you know that the wealthiest families and business have all of their serious money in life insurance policies? Do you know why? Because of 3 tax codes: 72E, 7702, and 101A. Or 101A. 72E says as long as it's a life policy, it grows tax-free. 7702 says as long as it's a life policy and you access it correctly, you can use it while you're alive, not after you're dead. While you're alive, tax-free. And 101A says when you die, it passes to your heirs, your family, tax-free. So what I do is I make the owner of all of your assets as well as your life insurance policies, because and guess what? Some people might say, I can't qualify. I maybe have bad health. I maybe have too up in age. Did you know you can use what's called a surrogate? As long as you are the owner of the policy, you do everything that you need to do, and you will put a life policy on your child, on your grandchild. You use your grandchild as the person that lets you qualify for the policy, but because you're the owner, it's growing. So now your money is making babies tax-free, utilizing a surrogate.
Okay, so if I have 5 great-grandchildren, I can name all of them as my...
Yes, ma'am. And then what you would do is, you're the policy owner. You know how most people, they'll leave a house with a mortgage. They'll leave a car with a car note. All you did was leave a liability. What happens is, let's say you use one of your grandchildren as surrogates. What you do is you use that grandchild as a surrogate, but you make it to where when you die, the owner of that policy transfers to that surrogate that you use. So now, instead of passing them a liability, you just pass them an asset. I want to thank y'all again for spending this time, and thank you for asking those additional questions because it allowed me to elaborate for people. Thank you for spending this time again. My name is Randolph Love III. If you need a franchise consultant, please call me. And now we have Bill Walsh coming up.
Come on, guys, give him some love, would you? How's everyone doing? Good? How many guys, this is your first show? First show ever. How many guys currently own a franchise? How many would like to own a franchise? How many think that franchising works? Yes or no?